And welcome to the Roxy Theatre and the finals of the Canadian Festival of Spoken Word 2012. Oh, you have to be louder than that. And louder than that. Well, you'll get better. The poets will make you wilder and crazier throughout the evening. Hello, nice to see you. Hi. Hi's a good response. Some of you are paying attention. Hi. Hi. Way better. I'm your host this evening, R.C. Weslowski. I want to give another round of applause, please, for our poets of honor, Magpie Ulysses and Brendan McLeod. Tonight, just in case you don't know why you are here, like if your friends just dragged you, hey, there's this word-speaking festival happening and we want you to come see people talk at you, and you're, wow, it's been kind of interesting so far. There was some talk singing and poetry and whatnot, but now we're going to have a contest. We're going to have a competition. We've got the 4 top scoring teams from throughout the week here out of 20 teams who are going to be here on the final stage this evening. And let's give them a big round of applause right off the top before any scores have been handed out. Just give them a big shout out. Up from the Roots, Ink Spot, Tonight It's Poetry, and TPS. Give them a big round of applause. Also, just want to give a big shout out to all the teams that are not on finals night. Does not mean they did not do their best. They did not work and bust their asses all week long as well. Let's give them a round of applause too, please. And there's also, you know, here and there across the country, for whatever reason, financial and otherwise, poets and teams are not able to be here. So if you wouldn't mind giving them a big shout out so they can hear us wherever they are across the country. They're still doing their work in their cities. And so they can, these other people too can hear us as well. I just wanted to give a shout out. Sometimes some poets, some people don't feel like they are welcome at some of these events, but it's our job, I think, in the long run to help make them feel welcome again or at all in the first place. And so just so they can hear us wherever they happen to be, let's send that vibe out to them wherever they are across the country, if you wouldn't mind. A big round of applause to those poets and those performers. Because we are, you know, we like to say we're a big poetry family, but sometimes families have disputes and we got to work them out. So we are working to do that. Yeah, good. At least 3 people like that. I was like, oh, that's good. Yeah, here's to working out disputes. Bravo. So I don't know what time it is, but I think we got to do this quickly because I think The Dark Knight Rises is at 9. And then The Master. Both movies I like, and it's fun. So you want to see them too. So we'll get the poetry happening in just a moment. And I want to make sure that everybody supports all the poets equally and enthusiastically when they get up here on stage. Let's practice that as well. They've spent the last year of their lives working to be here, and I like to mention this to all the poets because sometimes you get racked with doubt about whether or not I should do this poem. I don't know if this one's going to work or not, and you get filled with a little bit of doubt just before you get up on the stage. But I want to remind all the poets who have performed and are getting up here on this stage this evening, you deserve to be here. You have earned your spot on this stage. Shove that doubt out the door. Step up here with confidence and boldness. Break open their minds. smash their heads with beauty, make them laugh, make them cry, do all that sort of great stuff. So, I think we're about ready to... Oh, yes! For those of you who have never been to a slam before, there are little rituals that we like to do, and one of them is to have sacrificial poets up on stage. Calibration poets, poets for the judges to practice handing out scores to. And so we've got 2 sets of calibration poets this evening because judges and audience, those of you who have not been to an event before, we have an opportunity to hear individual solo pieces or what we like to call team pieces, where at least more than one person will be up on stage, or all 4 team members, or only 3, but they will be doing team pieces as well. That's definitely a possibility. So we're going to have a team piece sacrifice and an individual poet sacrifice. So judges, you can practice judging both of those different kind of styles. So we're going to begin with the team poetry sacrificial performance. And so, you know, poems. I would like to welcome team from Breath in Poetry. Put your hands together and boom. Here they come, Breath in Poetry.
Nervous, nervous tension, nervous touch, nervous, nervous go. Hi. Nervous eyes, nervous hand, shake, touch, quiver, twitch, nervous tick.
Nice to meet you.
Smile eyes, smile breathe, smile looking happy, smile breathe, nervous touch, breathe. Talk, talking.
Books, weather, movies.
And we're fish in a barrel, fish at sea until pause. Awkward, pause. Tick, awkward. Server now serving the red and white and red or white.
I'll have the red.
We have the red. Slide hands, lean in, smile slow.
What do you do?
Funny? Laugh. Laugh.
Funny.
Well, here's the...
You'll never guess.
Here's the...
I'm a poet.
Really?
Yeah.
Nervous.
Amongst other things.
Blink, blink. Pause.
Huh.
Server returning, savior now serving the red and white. Grip fist round stem.
A toast.
Raise eyebrow.
To new experiences.
Holy shit. Blush, raise glass, lower eyebrow, and...
Blink.
Oh, and so it goes, and so we go, and shoulders loosen with love's first sip and sigh into the evening.
Weather, books, movies.
Until suddenly...
Do you like cats or dogs?
A test, a litmus test. Choose now, red or blue, or red or blue, or red and white and...
Cats?
Smile drop, eyes narrow and sigh.
I like dogs.
Oh, warning bells and warning bells, clingy, needy, stupid, smelly, high maintenance. I am no electrician, I am no dog walker. I will not put you in my purse, I will not clean up all your shit. Dogs are fun, dogs are friendly, dogs are loyal, and dogs will kiss you back if you will hold them close. This is a good thing. Dog people are a good thing.
Dogs are great too.
Oh, smile returning, server now serving the fish for her and me, the cat man. Huge slab of pinky salmon rose. Let her talk while you devour licking chops, and cats love fish. They love the taste.
Movies, books, weather.
Until there comes the
music.
And
I like the shins.
watch her lips move like the valleys and peaks of a mountain range on fire. Curl, twitch, and shudder because
I love this shit.
not funny, but she laughs. Not talking now, just looking now, just smiling.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. Lightning, thunder, Zeus and Thor, we kill the room, we fry the room, the roof blows off the building and we dance in that stare. We're 2 frail lilies twining near the marsh, we crescent moon our everything and shake the place away.
We'll split the bill.
Out into night, out into us, out into...
Here.
Oh, slipping hand to hand like ivy, like falcons, like thunderbolts and rocket stars and underwater blankets. And it's so nice. Reciting lines we all have said.
I had a really great time tonight.
Me too.
Brief linger, awkward, nervous laugh, but slow, drop hands, draw breath, and fall.
Thank you, Saskatoon. Breath in poetry. All right, judges. You'll have 5 to 7 seconds to put up your scores. I'll do 3, 2, 1, and then you'll throw them up high. Do not let the palm bees influence you. 3, 2, 1, up with your scores. Just want to check, is that 5.8 or 8.5? 8.5. Okay, switch it the other way. Nice. This is why we practice. This is why we practice. 1, 2, 3, 4. Where's the, oh, over there. Okay. Oh my God! What are you doing over there?
Never mind.
We have a 7.0. Ignore the pombies. We have 7.3. 8.3. 8.5. And 8.8. Applaud the poets, not the score. I can do this because they're not in the competition, but that poem reminded me on the last time I went on a date and we were driving down the road. The person I was on the date with was driving and they say, hey, what kind of music do you like? And I go, hey, I love Nickelback. And they slammed on the brakes, get out of the car. And I had to walk home. Please welcome our individual sacrificial poets. Put your hands together for the P.O.E.
So, I said to my boss, I need a night off. I got this big poetry thing coming up. And the words that came next from his mouth would change my world forever, and by proxy, yours as well. Ah, he said, in his best Barney Fife, you wrote a little poem, did you? You wrote a little poem? You wrote yourself a little poem, did you? My brain fucking snapped into a Family Guy-esque cutaway. My chubby animated twin raining blows upon this person until my pinwheeling fists were covered in brains. Quick scene change as I ghost ride a car with a trunk full of limp remains straight to a lake to eliminate any trace of this mistake. Now, back to reality. Blood boiling. Eyes electric, struck dumb, my only mild remedy to walk away, share my feelings with you.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, there is no such thing as a little poem. There is no such thing as a little poem. There is no such fucking thing as a little poem. There's massive micros that never come up short. Huge haikus that say so much more than 17 syllables, large-ass limericks that linger longer than 5 lines, life-changing pieces of writing. These are shards of someone's soul. And how dare you? How dare you? I have never in my life written a little poem. I write epic poems, strong enough to make an audience make a guttural noise with no name like Rhymes that make people stomp their feet and snap the fucking prints clean off their fingers. Rhymes designed like landmines and pretzel twist mines when they go over it the first time like a pressure pad. Step on it, don't like it, step off it, cause we're not gonna stop. Potent preaching from the stage like brothers and sisters, this is our church and we're not going away, so God, grant me the patience to sneak into closed minds with cat burglar metaphors. God, grant me the strength to use my words instead of force. God, grant me the fury to keep this acid in my ink and this fire on my tongue. And God bless this stage because this is my home. And God damn anyone who thinks it's even possible to write a little poem.
Hey, that's the P.O.E. Whoa, judges, that's all the time you get. 3, 2, 1, up with your scores. We have a 7.7. It's just a little score, it doesn't matter. Judges, you're doing great. Please keep them up, please keep them up. 7.9, 8.0, 9.0, and a 9.3. Applaud the P.O.E. All right, we're gonna get going with the competition proper. All right, so we're gonna get going with the competition to decide it all. Who's gonna be your 2012 National Poetry Slam Team Champion?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're having a great Just for Laughs. My name is Dwayne Morgan, and this is Lee Shai. Now, while she may look like a dummy, she's actually quite smart. Fellas, you are in luck. Today, we are going to learn about women from an expert. Ladies, you may want to listen up.
Yes, and also...
I mean, I don't have a PhD or anything, but I know what I know. And it is a hard world out there for the ladies. And I mean, like the Canadian military, us men have a responsibility and a duty to serve and protect and shine a light on their plight. I mean, all that free thinking is so 1930s. What's that gotten you anyways?
A lot of single moms.
Exactly! And as men, we cannot rest when we see this kind of injustice. Isn't that right? Now, fellas, if a woman is fat, you don't need to tell her that she needs to lose weight. She just needs to get rid of her mirrors. I mean, if she puts out, we're gonna love her anyways.
Agreed.
Now, it is a very unsafe world out there for the women, and there's only so much that we can do as men to protect them. I mean, if she is ever sexually threatened, before asking her if she's all right, make sure she wasn't dressed like a hooker that night. I mean, ladies, the last thing you want to do is use your clothes as an invite, because we will show up.
I shouldn't have dressed in those revealing clothes that night.
Exactly! Take responsibility for your own actions so you can clean up your own mess. I mean, it's no wonder that we ask for a paternity test, and I don't mean to offend, but some women like you would be altogether much better off if they just kept their mouths shut and their legs open.
Yes, but do I get the chance to talk?
Not unless you have something of value to say. I mean, I am the one with the power and the male privilege at the end of the day.
Yes, and you make $1 to every 70 cents we make.
Absolutely.
And you have more representation in Parliament Hill than we do.
Damn straight.
And you control the media that controls us.
Of course.
And you've forgotten the wisdom that your mother gave you.
Yes, indeed. Wait, what?
You've forgotten that more than our reproductive ability and our body's beauty, more than Adam's rib, we are the backbone of humanity.
Can you stick to the script?
We are the unsung rebels of every revolution, the ones who sharpen our tongues for battle while you load your guns with bullets of ignorance.
That's enough out of you.
You who has the audacity to legitimate rape by virtue of what a woman wears, spreading your disease of indifference, propagating paternalism over equality, never paying attention to the intersection of gender and poverty.
Well, folks, we're gonna wrap this one up.
No, motherfucker, now it's my turn.
This is a family.
One who fucks with all that is sacred in she and we, the women who run shit. We are the axis upon which this earth spins. And then you have the audacity to try and teach me how to be safe? Why don't you teach other men how to not be predators?
Well, I mean, but...
No buts. We've been spoon-fed by your industries, your mass media monopolies, your power-hungry women gotta stay in the kitchen, take care of the kids, always ready to suck cock, take the back seat, and stay silent philosophies. And while it might seem like you're the one pulling the strings, don't get it twisted. We're the ones running shit, and the only dummy here is you.
This is for my Auntie Hilda. My Auntie Hilda had her little sister shot out of her arms when she herself was just a teenager, fleeing, trying to run away from the Nazis. As an adult, Auntie Hilda had a constant tick in her eye. I think she had a constant tear in her eye, trying not to show the fear in her eyes, that sickening moment permanently seared in her eyes. And I realized I didn't have it nearly as bad as Auntie Hilda. But when I was in grade 4, a big greaser used to follow me home from school calling me Dirty Jew. I never knew where he lived or why he picked on me. But for 2 weeks of my life, he haunted me. He taunted me. Not just saying the words dirty Jew, but spitting them out like he was trying to get rid of a bloody broken tooth. One day, he jumps in front of me, sucker punches me in the face so hard he breaks my nose. Ran away, never saw him again. I think about him every time I blow my nose. Ugh. A few years ago, I attended a rally for peace in Darfur. I took my 12-year-old niece with butterfly ribbons in her hair, who proudly held her homemade sign that said, "Peace on Earth." Everything was just so fine, she looked so sweet, and then across the street, we discover 14 racists with their faces covered, ready to sting like a swarm of wasps. They just hovered in their bomber jackets, steel-toed boots, skinheads, with a banner held high by a couple of recruits proclaiming white pride. Sounds like some cheap laundry detergent. Who were they hoping to scare, showing off swastikas on their wrists? Pacifists who lend a hand but won't pass a fist. 24 hours later, I read about them in the paper. And what do they call these neo-Nazis who secretly masturbate to pictures of Hitler late at night? Media called them white supremacists. Not supreme bozos or supreme bigots spewing venom out of their ignorant spigots. These guys had a plan in mind, and they scored! And the media gets an assist for calling them supremacist. I'm sure they were thrilled and felt so alive being referred to someone whose name is derived from the word supreme. Calling them supremacists, that makes them empowered. Let's call them for what they really are. These guys are cowards! The same sadistic cowards who shot Auntie Hilda's little sister out of her arms. Hey you, hiding behind your balaclava. Want to stir up a hornet's nest? Reach your target audience best? Well, for your next protest, may I suggest Mosaic Stadium? Yeah, be our guest. By the clubhouse where the Green Riders get dressed. Stand outside there and beat your chest. But no. Instead, they'll choose a place where police will protect them. Let them cover their faces. Where volunteers and volunteers gather, and my young niece holds her sign pleading for world peace. Never forgetting what happened to her, my, yours, anyone's Auntie Hilda.
He was working on those railroads all the livelong days. He was working on those railroads all the livelong days. He was working on those railroads all the livelong days. He was working on those railroads all the livelong days. My father was a working man, overworked, underpaid, highly focused man. See, my father had a plan. Say he was gonna make the immigrant's dream worth it for the refugee Deliska clan. See, my father had callous hands. The hands of a working man, firm stance, the stance of a working man, hard glance, the glance of a working man. Soft heart, the heart of a loving man, a mechanic. Knew everything about his car, had a mental blueprint to everything that went on inside, deep down inside. I wish that I was a car. The breadwinner, the man who put dinner on our table, kept us alive, pack up the moon, early morning, beat the sun to the sky. See, his 9 to 5 was more like 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. at night. See, the bills were tight, but hey, they gotta get paid. And check it, my defense was tight. Boy, I had game, I loved to play, but my offense sucked. See, my shooting form was kind of lame. My father wasn't around to give me insight like, tuck in your elbows, son. Now, let it swing. And it brought me pain to look in the stands and not see the awe of his light. But I knew the man that gave me life was also the man that put shoes on my feet from where I stood. He did what he could. He also put a crown on my head, called me Prince. One day I'd be king, just like my pop. See, the world is mean, it just keeps spinning, just keeps spinning, just keeps spinning, just keeps spinning. But don't expect it to stop just for you. And my father did all he can do, so I'm acknowledging for my gratitude. See, he paved the way, laid the tracks one by one for all of his sons. See, he paved the way, laid the tracks one by one for all of his sons. See, my father was working on those railroads all the live long days. My father was working on those railroads all the live long days. My father was working on those railroads all the live long days. My father was working on those railroads just to pave me, just to pave me, just to pave me away.
I see dead people. Kind of like that kid in that movie, because the dead people I see don't know they're dead either. But in my case, it's because, well, they aren't dead yet. I guess it's more like I see death itself within people, before it's had a chance to unfurl its wings. Sometimes, if I do my job well, I see death when it's small and weak, a tiny, inky smudge hiding like a coward amongst the other shadows, waiting with terrifying patience. And if I see it when it's small enough and weak enough, the puny knives and potions of my comrades in arms may be enough to lift this one dead person back out of their yawning grave to be. But all too often, by the time I can find it, death is strong to the point of being brash and cocky, quite happy to point to itself with a little cough here or a touch of blood there, saying, "Go ahead, take my picture. It's already too late." Those are the days I dread. Because someone has to tell them, someone has to let them know they're a dead person walking, and any reason I can think of why that someone shouldn't be me seems itself weak and cowardly. So I say it. I try to be truthful but not overly blunt. I say I'm sorry to give this news. I offer a tissue, I offer my hand, I offer hope even when there isn't much. And usually I think I do okay, manage to keep my air of concerned professional composure. Sometimes it's not even that bad. The old ladies are the best. Often they console me. "Don't worry, young man," they say, "it's okay. I've had a good life. I'm not afraid." But sometimes it's so sad. Sometimes it gets to me, and I can't always see it coming. Don't know what it is about this person that lets them find a chink in my emotional armor. Of course it's bad if it's a child, but thankfully that's not often. But it's also bad if there are just kids involved, which is all too often. Like the woman who brings her young daughter with her. And you get the feeling that's because she's always trying to set an example. This is how you look after yourself, sweetheart. And as I'm saying to the girl, I want you to go with this nice lady for a while. I need to talk to your mom. There's a tiny corner of my brain thinking she kind of reminds me of my daughter when she was that age. And then we have our talk, and then the woman says, "But I can't have cancer. My daughter needs me. She needs me." And suddenly that part of me that spouts statistics and treatment plans and euphemisms is just melting away. And I want to take that woman into my arms and cry with her. I want us to both cry and cry, leaving a big wet blotch on each other's shoulder. I want to say, "It's okay, I'll help. Maybe I can help look after your daughter." And I know that's crazy. Of course I can't do that, of course. But it feels like I just have to do or say something real, something that will matter, something that will make some difference. But that's not what doctors do. So I wait until she's gone, close the door, sit down and cry by myself. But as I sit there, and as I stand here, I'm haunted by the question, did that woman really need a doctor or a human being? Or did she perhaps need someone who could somehow find the courage to be both?
I just want to know it. Just keep clapping our hands and screaming for a second and take a listen to what 500 poetry lovers in Saskatoon sound like. fantastic audience. That's the end of round number 1.
Before my mother gave me to her sister, she told me, "You were born beautiful, holy, like light streaming through stained glass." She told me to be careful, watch out, this life has sharp edges. Still I grew to walk through the world, bright green eyes dancing from light shining within. But the edge of this broken glass world gets too close, it cuts, it hurts, more than numbness and fear, more than worry and expectation. I wait, I beg, for the kind of healing that is carefully picking up the shards, placing them attentively in a frame, cementing them there waiting, for that stained glass holy birth moment, when I will hold my masterpiece up to the light and let it stream through. I heap sighs that tell you I'm from somewhere else. I long to blend in and I'm good at it. It's easy to assume I'm a girl from up the street. Where I live now, people worry about hills and fuel prices. My family mistakes me for their own child. I catch myself before speaking otherwise. My disguise is instinct. I want to belong. I want to be at home. I've abandoned the life I once lived. It is no longer. My only option is to make this work. Pay attention, dress like them, live like them, walk like them. I make my life revealing little. Am so well disguised, the sole bearer of my true story. But sometimes you can catch me breathing so deeply you might wonder where I come from. The ocean swells within me, calls me back, threatens to drown me. I remember learning to breathe while swimming. I come back to that singular breath. Do you know the cost of breathing once the ocean's made its way in? There were days I could smilingly go along, but I came home to face this wreckage. In the wake of this devastation, my best option was to jump in the ocean and swim to the other side where I knew I had family. Without a doubt, trusting intuition, I dove in. My story is unbelievable to those who don't know about the ocean and what it costs to swim here, to grow web feet, swim over sharks, cough up ocean swells, nearly drowning if you doze off. I don't tell anyone how I've come to be. But when tears from this ocean inside spill out, you might wonder. For the girl who swam the ocean, sometimes it's enough to just breathe. And if I have a daughter, I will tell her, you are built of love, with the tools to cut down fear. Walk tall. You are a moving masterpiece of stained glass and shark tooth strength. Please know that you are enough. You are loved. You are loved. You are loved.
Good evening. I am David Attenborough, and on tonight's episode of Fuck This Planet, we explore the patterns and behaviors of humanity's most dangerous adversary. Join us as our special slam cameras capture a glimpse of this creature as it's never been seen before. In the next 3 minutes, see its sacrilegious text mislead the public and debase humanity. We must all be made wary of humanity's cousin, the Homo assholabus, commonly known as the a-hole. Once thought by theologians to be isolated to the buttocks, recent scientific evidence suggests that the a-hole is widely spread, though not in a sexy way. And with but a modicum of authority, assholabus strives to make us all feel like garbage. Watch as this one parades a service industry wage slave for more granola and a crispier sandwich. And here's another one, tailgating and racing through red lights. Oh, now his siren is on. Perhaps there are some students protesting. They will be raced, beaten, and arrested shortly. Due to the hot-button issue of gay marriage, Homo holobus has coalesced into a subspecies known as the religious homophobe. Though they claim to speak for Jesus, they are about as Christian as a kidney stone and infinitely less pleasing to entertain. Watch as our special slam cameras capture this one, selectively quoting Leviticus, misspelling words, and misattributing his hatred to biblical malarkey. Truly his hubris blinds him to the vulgarity of his knuckle-dragging sub-simian intellect. His ignorance and bigotry are legion, but there's just no use in trying to help a willfully moronic a-hole. And now we shift our focus onto the political spectrum. A political statement is the use of words to say nothing at all. The assholobus write these statements, read these statements, and more strangely yet, assholobus even believe these statements. Once elected into power, the a-hole changes what would be seen as a direct democracy into an indirect democracy. That's right, indirect democracy. Right up in there, with a dry fist no less. There is not time enough in this entropic universe to describe the multitude of assholobus which plagues this shitty little planet. Truly they ruin our brief existence and tarnish the reputations of their friends and colleagues. Join us on our next episode of Fuck This Planet as we follow around another a-hole as he serves sandwiches while writing terrible poetry in his head. Oh shit, that's me. I hate myself. Thank you for joining us this evening, and good night.
For the victims of the Danzig Street shooting in Toronto this summer, I send out a lament, a shout out to the heavens in search of an answer. And I know better than to expect one, but here it is anyway. In these 3 summers of discontent, I've seen hospital rooms and the insides of churches and funeral homes. I've had to wipe hot tears from the cheeks of family members after I carried my granddad's casket to its final resting place 2 summers ago. Then I eulogized my aunt, a woman who was like my second mother when seasons were about to change last year. Cancer took them both. And though their deaths have left gaping wounds that have been slow to heal, they at least led full lives. But this madness that took Cheyenne Charles, too damn young at a community barbecue, how to embrace the youth, has me searching for answers I can't have. And then came the official parade of officials, officially out of touch, with the chief of police on TV saying that this was the worst violence he's ever seen. And then the mayor said he was disgusted. And the police services board were appalled. And that's all well and good for them, but Cheyenne is dead, 14 years young, and it is us, the family, friends, and the community, who are left to pick up the pieces. The next morning, I saw Cheyenne's father lay under a comforter, sadly overmatched for the task, saying nothing. I turned to him. "You aren't saying anything today, are you?" He shook his head. And as our eyes met, all I could think was, what can I say to this man? And so I send out a lament, a shout out to the heavens, but it's getting drowned out by the sound of gunfire still ringing in my head as 24 people fall and 2 never get up. And I cannot beautify these words with fancy phrases because as family gathered with friends and watched the non-stop news coverage on television, there could be no words to take the edge off of what had just happened. 2 fucking idiot boys opened fire in the middle of a crowd of 100+ people trying to hit each other and shot a girl to death in cold blood. They made people pound on her chest, perform CPR while her mother screamed for her to stay awake, and then this little girl, nothing left in her, breathed her last breath. I cannot beautify murder, and I cannot contain my anger. This is a lament, a shout out to the heavens in search of any fucking answer for my cousin, my family, my city, my country. And I know better than to expect one, but here I am, looking for one anyway.
Yeah, come on!
This is for someone special. If you've ever thought you were dying, then you know. Black holes don't gag on your body. You're just a shot of yag chased with sewer bugs down a hatch that leads back to the future where Michael J. Fox looks old and has Parkinson's. When I fall in, I hear a stammer of whispers, a lisp on the lips of demons. I feel disgusting, and suddenly my kaleidoscopes are bigger than my guts were, crushed like sidewalk Skittles. And the only thing I ever wanted is fading faster than guilt on a guillotine. But in the fleeting glimpses of you, my eyes crossed like the stars that God dreamt of when the sky was still empty, when Shakespeare was just a trick up her sleeve, right beside taste buds, next to clean water, next to the coolness beneath my pillow, and good memories I wish I could grasp. When these black holes haunt me, I hope you still want me. Every day, there are new cells in my fingertips that have never touched you. There are heartbeats we haven't made love to yet, smiles we haven't tasted. There's England, there's Africa, and quiet moments in noisy places, though I slumber. As if this weight couldn't wait, like it just pulled, like it was cut like umbilical guitar chords playing me home, cut like film strip scenes of me falling, cut like my puppet strings. And it doesn't matter now that I'm only dreaming of you, because to me, you were never from here, only for here. More powerful than old trees. God, I will tie a ribbon. I will bury my mistakes here and cook black hole for breakfast. I will grasp at straws drowning until I breathe what I swallow. I promise this will make me stronger. You breathe life into wooden bones like a myth. Rub genies from Heineken bottles, music from these fingers, swagger from Stroll, and together we roll like bicycle wheels, like planets, forever smooth and in sync and hell-bent on revolution. It's been 6 years since that day we had the same random thought at the same random time. I miss you. Like I miss innocence. Like house cats must miss being tigers. Don't worry, I will come back. I will rise from wood floors like dust on a bucket list to tell jokes about Hades. And together we will laugh at gravity until he understands what it feels like to be bullied. And before he can say sorry, he will be bewildered to gaze up and see us floating.
I'm being held hostage by this devil on my shoulder. Come on, Patrick. Everybody knows that only those with troubles try to help troubled youth. So who you trying to fool? You're a window. Everyone can see through you and keep thinking that you're clever with those little poems that you write. Make them laugh so they can't tell that your poems are whack and lack substance. Everybody knows that you're a fraud. So do us both a favor. Pull this trigger. End it all.
Okay, Dwayne. I think it's time to call it quits. Ever since the first word out your mouth, you've amounted to nothing but worthless shit, and to be honest, it's disappointing. How dare you have a daughter in the midst of all this darkness? How do you expect her to grow and shine in the shadow of an artist? Oh, so you thought your name and marquee and a couple snapping fingers was enough, and you expect your daughter to trust a man who hides behind cheap lies for his fear of love from the seeds up from the roots. I've watched you leave it rotten, so pull that trigger, Dwayne. I'll show you how swiftly you're forgotten. Pull that trigger, Dwayne.
Enunciate, Pinoy boy. No one can understand what you're trying to say. Though your popularity is increasing like the numbers when you step onto a scale. How do you expect your brother to live up to you when you cast a shadow that big? How do you expect to ever find love when you can only commit to your fridge? You're not that important, so don't get it confused. Do us both a favor. Put the gun to use.
Really? This is the making of a man. 37 years old, still competing at little slams. Okay. Let's get a round of applause for this guy. Made a living writing poems, and still there's no one there waiting for him when he gets home. There's a couple groupies who love him for the morals he claims to have, when really he's just a mediocre poet who should have tried to be a dad, but it's too late. So do the ones who love a favor and leave them with better times. A couple ticket stubs, you gimmick. Make that suicide letter rhyme, and pull that trigger, Dwayne. you talking to? Him, the devil on my shoulder, holding me hostage, playing my insecurities like guitar strings, and it's things I should be hung from, but the only thing that needs to die is that voice. I can't do this anymore. I can no longer take it. I have to pull the trigger, man. I have to erase it. Come on, man. Sometimes it'll seem like there's no choice. There's either him or you, but trust me, you are worth fighting for. I know. But sometimes to take the wheel of your life can be hard when it feels like a drunk driver has full control of your car, and Lady Luck and your fairy godmother and your guardian angel know what to be found. But you're right. It may be up to me to dust the devil off my shoulder and get up off the ground. Other people won't always be around to be the flashlight in your darkness. Sometimes the only light at the end of the tunnel will be you. So silence the noise, break the chips off of your shoulders, serve them with guacamole, let your pain feed the masses. And sometimes you have to take the bull by the horns when opportunity passes. You have to kick down a few doors, but it's a matter of life and death. And there'll always be a voice inside your head that would rather see you dead than accept to your potential. So put the gun down, brush it off, get up, dust yourself off and don't give up. Cause the devil on my shoulder is holding me hostage, and it's him or me, and today I'm choosing to live.
Got it? Get it done.
With every changing tides of society, we lose precious grains of sand. Asher Brown was found curled into the corner inside his stepfather's closet. Flannel shirts hung above him while pant legs dangled down, gently brushing over the top of his head like his mother, running her hand through her child's hair after he'd had a nightmare. His worn-down sneakers rested by the door, his backpack filled with pencil case and textbooks sat neglected, his progress report still open to the page, streaked with days. His smiling picture was dusty on the mantelpiece. It captured his spirit, but failed to show the heaviness he carried inside his chest, you see. Asher Brown was crushed by the weight of both sticks and stones and seared from the names that forever scarred him. Haunted down the halls, he walked with a single finger clutched to the wall as the texture of heavily painted cinder brick slid underneath his finger's tip. He was a figment, dragging his torment across shiny linoleum floors, looking down at his worn sneakers, his backpack filled with pencil case and textbooks, and the heaviness he felt inside his chest. And with every step, the fear of being alone until he made it home followed him like his black eyes, cracked ribs, and the memories of being thrown down 3 flights of stairs twice, accompanied by the relentless attack of being called faggot. Asher, you were a phoenix with clipped wings, but never made it past the ashes. You were told the world would be a better place without you, and you agreed, so you curled yourself into a corner, used a gun as a dream catcher to get out of that nightmare. You were a lost soul slipping through the cracks of an education system and a family structure that failed to understand you, Asher. The moment you came out of the closet that day, it was like you had said yes to every time you had ever been called a faggot, that the beatings you had were deserving, and it's true that the cruelty of the world consumed you before compassion could, Asher. Your smile haunts me from the headlines. I know full well the living hell of being an adolescent trying to embody an identity that is perceived as weak and unwanted. You were a child surrounded by influences you could only hope to grow out of like a cocoon. And as a youth, you emerged delicate butterfly wings handled by the hands of hate, and the only thing that became of it was when you became a specimen tacked on to a corkboard of statistics. Asher, the world is becoming a better place. Just imagine how foolish those who hold signs that say God hates fags and man is a marriage between a man and a man will not be seen under the eyes of God. Imagine just how foolish they will look, like those who once held signs that said white-only schools and blacks in the back of the bus. Asher, within every changing tides of society, you lose precious grains of sand that could have very well been cultivated into pearls. You were one of them. The world really is becoming a better place. I just wish you were here to see it with me.
Rolling, rolling, rolling,
nice and easy. But you see, there's just one thing we don't do. We don't do it nice and easy. We always do it nice and rough. Ain't that right, ladies? Yeah, girl. Ain't that right, Ike?
Sing the song, Anime.
Listen, left a good job in the city, working for the man every night and day. If you only knew, I was overworked. Constantly have to hear this voice inside my head telling me to
sing the damn song, Anime. Sing the song.
And when he finally grew tired of calling me by my birth name, Mr. Ike Turner went ahead and gave me his own. Hey, Tina. 1, 2, 3, river. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Ever look for something that was in your hand the whole time? Fear, it'll do that to you. It'll make you miss the obvious. Black-eyed bruises, roast ribs, black-eyed bruises. It's hard to leave somebody when you know what it's like to be left behind. I never had a mother to pick out a pretty dress or fix my hair on the first day of school, and Daddy wasn't there neither, but I survived. Well, never liked them other kids. I always knew I was different. Proud Mary keeps on burning, and we rolling, 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 rolling on that river. I made a life rolling on that river until I had nothing to lose. And what do you take from somebody who's got nothing to lose? So I burned them secondhand emotions, looked inside myself for help. I left. It wasn't easy, but I left the house, cars, jewelry, all the finer things, and got rid of that voice.
Why can't you sing the song the way it's supposed to be sang?
The only thing I took with me, Proud Mary keeps on burning, was my name.
I am a city.
I am a city.
Not because of my saddle dome, not because of my towering sky-scarring bow, not because of my angry drivers or my ceaseless new construction, but because of my people.
My people.
The Blackfoot called me Mal Inistis in Aka-Apawis.
Mal Inistis in Aka-Apawis.
The Cree named me Otusquanik.
Otusquanik.
Elbow House. On the joint of a river, my land was claimed, renamed Calgary, for an estate on the Isle of Mull, from the Norse for cold and gart, cold garden. Yet my nature remains unclear. Some seem to live here despite.
Oil running races through duck ponds.
Despite.
Weather wandering ice and fire in hours.
Despite.
Freeway cars aimless breaking through farmlands.
Despite.
Tourists in blistered cowboy boots and smudged white hats.
My face is tipped past fences, searching for the next Chinook to change the winds. Cold gart. Cold garden, growing slowly. I am more than drunken stampeding, petroleum bleeding, downtown greeting, needing another jacket, another car, another decimal place, money singing in the key of major class divisions. I am more than this. I am mountain futures cradled close on a hazy horizon.
I am.
Bike paths cleared of snowdrifts in November.
I am.
Wildflower clustered communities.
I am.
The grocery cashier who remembers my name.
I am.
The paint splashed man who runs after me with my dropped keys.
I am.
The Tai Chi master who teaches summer classes for free. I am a paycheck for an unemployed Easterner. I am respite for a fresh face smashed by Vancouver's rent. Sheltered in a cold garden. Still. Some love me, others despise me, like any city. Because sometimes home is choice, sometimes it's circumstance, and residency by necessity is rarely endearing. Sometimes it is a ruthless, homeless, cold garden. But I'm doing the best that I can. I am a space in time, a potential in many forms, and some say I am not cool enough.
Not old enough.
Not liberal enough.
Not open enough.
But really, I am 1.1 million cities in 2.2 million eyes, forming one cold garden home on the shores of the Bow River. Mol inistis in aka apowis.
Mo inistis in aka apowis.
Otus quonic.
Otus quonic.
This is home.
We meet, eyes tasting, lips moving almost as if an allergic reaction, puckering, flirting, famished. For a second I glanced at that spot near your blushing earlobe, my pirate booty, my treasure glinting. I forced my attentions back, don't let on, don't stare. How many times will my lips travel down your chest, suck your nipples hot, blow them cold, linger at arched pelvis, and then tongue you like a weathered stallion at a salt lick? How many times will I taste us before I can ask you with cum, tangy breath to turn over? We just had such close sex, you probably want to fall asleep, my sweat drying on your hands, unclenching. Turn over. You gaze at my fetish-glazed eyes, fear, fluttering, flaccid state. Why, you ask? My attempts at being casual, laughable. You, have a pimple, some acne you can't get to. Let me help you. You turn over and the poetry of your blemishes open, soft cover sweetly. There it is, bulging like a cum-filled condom tip, your inflamed zit. The beginnings of your lovely landscape, the story of trapped dirt, oil, and capped worms buried in pores, a revolution of pus waiting to be freed by my trim fingertips. When you're not around, I think about those 3 aged blackheads by your ear. Imagine long, lingering, dunking baths we'll have, heated lavender cloths and ambient music playing trip-hop tales of our esthetician. Oh, do not think that I'm the only one. We find each other at national poetry slams, strawberry socials, Disney orgies, and at the bottom of wine bottles. Loosened by liquor, we speak freely of acne vulgaris, closed commodores, open commodores, papules, and refilling sebules. We are at your spas. We go to school for 20 years to call ourselves dermatologists. But we are lovers, freedom fighters. We can identify our partner's bodies by the scars that we leave. Yes, officer, that's him, we'll say, I'm sure of it. Tears brimming, knowing that we could never press those pores again. Let us heal you. Don't let us live in shame. Our passions spent downloading YouTube videos. Biggest sit pop ever. Sis of Japan. Infected boils of Istanbul. And so, Brendan McLeod, when you finally relent, and let me at your back. Know that the pus and nuggets that I extract and then present to you with all the affection of a murderous cat is me showing you what real love is made of.
The Jabberwocky runs a monopoly in Alice's Wonderland. Down by the wave he slangs Snickers snacks of fairy dust cloud spores steeped in stupor. Until Harry Potter grows into Gandalf, much of fantasy will be carbon copy of larger footprint. Until boogie-footed monsters stop feeding on whatever falls from the sky, Icarus will be the waxwick romance of candlelit labyrinths escaped only to be the ashen prey of weightlessness. Our skyscraper society is chasing storm clouds, even though we cannot fly. Like penguins marching on meteors, we are trying to swim through the flame tongue with the forced French kiss. Like ostriches sprinting towards spearheaded spikes, we do not want to die without a race to the finish, not meant to be won in first place. I am watching time-lapse footage of a canvas becoming a flying pig with a metropolis on its back, wondering what we animals have learned from Aesop's fables and Orwell's allegories. I am hearing whiplashed voices of poets becoming fish-tailed outlets for oceanic prayer, touching musk blue vapors of star-dusted sandalwood, inebriating me with ravenous radiance. I am eating my own flesh, filtered spirit, trying to get a sense of what consumes this culture. Cookies cut from cubicles of customary convenience, catalyzing carelessness, footing the bill for carbon copies. Imagine that. Life repeating itself as if it were history pages flipped with a receipt for each spotting of Waldo. I see these lazy naked eyes strip images down to pixelated screensavers, pornographic montages of seeds planted in the melting womb of crying coral tracing us from Genesis to genocide. Twilight's ivory fangs suck on salty ocean tears, a drink for Dracula to sink Atlantis in. Tales of tides and wills of waves pray for us, believing in the pathos of petroleum despite bleeding from the catacombs of unholy oils spilling from the killing sprees that spoil them. Pools whirling like Andromeda, spiraling through Orion's buckle, striking stars like smelting iron, tying together belts of nuclear knotted hydrogen, flashing hot scraps of sky, reminding us that carbon, compounded by the chemistry of our creativity, cannot be copied.
She said, go in. Take a sledgehammer to the walls that you've built around your truth. See yourself in every piece of the rubble that lies at your feet. Identify your ground zero and start there. Take a scalpel to every lie that you've ever told yourself. Excavate your experiences. Scrub your pain with bleach. Stand securely in your vulnerability and go in, knowing that you'll be judged whether you do or you do not. So you might as well speak. Stand nose to nose with your demons, vowing never to bow in defeat. Spill your soul. Become a human sacrifice on this stage. Honor every experience that has made you the way that you are. Show off your scars like tattoos. This is for the first time that I was ever called a nigger. For the time I was told that those like me only come into these stores to steal. For every time I was looked in the eyes and denied service. For the time she asked me the size of my dick before asking me my name. But for the day I became an oxymoron, black father going in with a sense of urgency, because a black man's hourglass doesn't come with the same amount of sand as everyone else's. So the time is now for spiritual spring cleaning, so I can finally begin healing, letting go of the naysayers who told me that I would never achieve my dream. Asked me when I planned on getting a real job, yet here I am, 2 decades later, still standing tall with these chips on my shoulders like souvenirs, going in, because only I know how many days I hated myself, felt depressed, wondered if life would be better on the other side of death. I played hearts like a deck of cards, met diamonds and clubs, and now I'm calling a spade because I don't know how to trust. I struggle to accept praise, bathe in joy, and I need to learn how to love. I've embroidered barbed wire around my soul to prevent anyone from getting too close, to protect them from the brutality of my wounds, so I keep them hidden with a cloak that I've wrapped around my failures. I blame myself for everything in my life that has ever gone wrong. My emotions are a thunderstorm, my mind a tornado of creativity, and the forecast is calling for redemption. So here I am, going in, offering myself as a sacrifice on the stage with these words that escape from my mouth, because anytime a poet goes in, only their truth can come out.
Ladies and gentlemen, your festival and tournament directors, Sean McGarragle and Charles Hamilton.
Okay, so there's been a lot of people who've worked extremely hard on this whole festival. I mean, we have a big list that we're going to read out. But there's one dude who, even before this festival started, came into my bedroom almost every morning at 10, 11. My roommate Adrian hates him because he woke us up. So we wanted to give something special to Mr. John Johnstone V. And because he's my favorite nerd, we got you a nice nerdy t-shirt. So make sure to say thanks to this guy. He put in an epic amount of work in this festival and has slept as little as me, so. Okay, so as we know that there was 20 teams when we started this festival, so we're gonna read all the teams that were at this festival from the festival guide. So please just, yeah, when we read your names, teams, if you're in the building, which I'm fucking pretty positive you are, just stand up and read your name. So first we have Breath and Poetry from Edmonton. We have the Burlington Slam Project, Capital Slam, Guelph Poetry Slam, Tonight It's Poetry from Saskatoon, KW Poetry Slam from Kitchener-Waterloo, Lips from Lanark County, the London Poetry Slam, Throw Collective, Tongues of Fire in Victoria, TPS Toronto Poetry Slam, Up from the Roots from Toronto, Urban Legends, Van Slam, Winnipeg Poetry Slam, and our wild card team, York Slam, Mississauga Poetry Slam, Word Up Wednesdays from Regina and Calgary Ink Spot. These are all your teams who made this festival the best fucking CFSW ever. Make sure to show me around. So just a few more things. I'm sorry, this is the last. Man, I haven't slept. I've like, holy shit. This is insanity, dude. But it's like, I was trying to go home last night, and even tonight I was like, I can't, there's no, and I was like, of course I have to. What am I talking about? This is why I don't sleep. So this is a big long list. I'm probably forgetting some people, but these are the people that made this festival happen. Daniel, Mr. Sean McGarragle, so Daniel Toth, Sean McGarragle, JJ5, Missy Peters, Shana Becky Grech, Lydia's, all of our volunteers, so everyone wearing a red t-shirt. They absolutely made this festival happen. Spokane, DJ Who, where did he go? Oh, there he is. DJ Who, who's filming this whole entire thing along with my friend Michael. Adrian, my roommate, who cooked us turducken. She did, it was fucking awesome. Randy, Rusty, all of our hosts, Elise Malkin, Lisa Johnson, Magpie Ulysses, obviously, Brendan McCrowd, Chris Gilpin, Jillian Christmas, Ian Kennedy, Scruffmouth, some word I wrote that I can't read, Taylor Lido, what's that say? Who's that? I'm sorry, whoever you are that I wrote down, I can't read what I wrote. That's embarrassing. Yeah. All right. So, thank you's not quite over. Oh, Jesus, holy shit. BOUT party. Oh, yeah, but I thank Mike McGee. Weren't you gonna come up here, Mike? Yeah, and then he was just drinking beer. Mike McGee, man, this guy he worked his fucking ass off for this festival. He has done more poetry than anyone, and has also somehow made a meme of a childhood photograph of mine from my mirror. From my house. Holy shit. All right, sponsors are Spokane, Tonight's Poetry, the Canada Council for the Arts, Planet S Magazine, Media Manifesto, the Saskatchewan Arts Board, and CFCR. And also, Mike McGee, I forgot to mention, will be featuring tomorrow night at Lydia's. So, Tonight's Poetry back in action tomorrow night. Are you ready for the teams? I've had enough of this. Are you ready for the teams? Mr. Sean McGarragle, your tournament director.
Can we get all 4 teams from finals up on stage, please? Give it up to all teams. All the way to the stage, everybody. They worked so hard, so long. Yeah. Come on, really give it up for them. Come on, everybody. In 4th place tonight, please give it up for Ink Spot, everybody. Come on. In 3rd place tonight, give it up for TPS. In 2nd place, your very own Tonight is Poetry. And in 1st place, the 2012 National Champions. Give it up for Out from the Roots.
Wow, fuck, a lot of people. So many of the poets in this room today have been blessed because Dwayne Morgan has been doing this for fucking 20 years. Yeah. And he has paved the way for so many of us poets. I want to quickly say that this team up on the roof 2012 would not be here without Dwayne Morgan. I want to say that Serafina has been the glue that has held us together. Serafina is our team alternate. She's right over there, the pretty lady over here. She has fucking held us together. Patrick DeBellin, our slam champion. Greg has been strength to all of us. But most importantly, I want everyone to give Dwayne the respect and honor that he deserves. He's come 2nd place in this competition for countless years. He deserves this. Give it up for Dwayne Morgan.
Thank you all so much. I just want to be really brief. I just want to thank my teammates. They put up with me and you know, This year I was just really focused, and they said, hey, I have an idea, and I said, don't think, just execute. Let me run the ship. And they said, you know what, we got you, and we're here, we did it, we executed. I want to thank my past teammates like Tommy Buick, who finished second place with me like 3 different times. And you know, it's just such a blessing. As I said in that last piece, I've been doing this for 20 years. Spoken word is my job, and to be able to stand here with these people and be a national champion means everything to me. Thank you guys all.
Just before we leave, there's one person who I can honestly say has not gotten enough gratitude. Please, everyone, give it up for Charles Hamilton right here.
How about you guys for coming out and supporting? Give a round of applause to yourselves, for fuck's sake. I have nothing to do with this.